Every major war in history was paid for with money that didn't exist. Not taxes, not gold, not even real cash, just debt. And here's the part no one tells you. The longer a war lasts, the more money the system makes. So what if war isn't just about power, territory, or ideology? What if war is actually a financial engine? Think about it. Wars cost trillions of dollars. The World War I, the World War II, even modern conflicts today. Where does all that money come from? Governments don't just have trillions sitting around. So how do they pay for war without going broke? Let's simplify it. Imagine a village. One farmer wants to build weapons to defend his land, but he doesn't have enough grain to pay for it. So he borrows from the village lender. The lender says, I'll give you what you need now, but you'll pay me back later with extra. That's debt. Now scale that up to an entire country. When governments go to war, they don't spend money they have. They spend money they promise to repay later. Here's how it actually works. When a country needs money for war, it issues something called bonds. These are basically IOUs. Governments sell these bonds to banks, corporations, foreign countries, even their own citizens. And in return, they get cash immediately. But here's the catch. That money doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's created through lending, which means war is funded by borrowed money that didn't exist before the loan.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. When the government borrows money, that money gets spent into the economy. Weapons manufacturers get paid, soldiers get salaries, industries expand, and the people who bought those bonds, they earn interest. So the system creates a loop. Borrow, spend, profit, lend again. War doesn't just destroy, it circulates money.
But there's a problem. When the war ends, the debt doesn't. After World War II, the United States had massive debt. So did Europe. So how did they repay it? They didn't. They borrowed more. This is called rolling debt. Old debt gets replaced by new debt, and the cycle continues. Now, think about this carefully. If war creates massive borrowing, and borrowing creates economic activity, then war becomes financially useful, not morally, not socially, but economically. And that creates a dangerous incentive, because the system doesn't just survive on peace, it thrives on spending, and nothing drives spending faster than war. But here's the real question. If wars are funded by debt, who actually benefits? Is it the countries, the people, or the ones who lend the money? Let's follow. When governments borrow, someone is always on the other side. Lenders, banks, institutions, investors. They buy government bonds and earn interest over time, which means the longer the debt exists, the more money they make. And since war creates massive debt, it also creates massive long-term profit streams. Now zoom out. This isn't just one country. Every country does this. During wars, countries borrow from their own citizens, other countries, global financial institutions. So the world becomes interconnected through debt. Money flows across borders, even between rivals, which means war might divide nations, but debt connects them. And this leads to an uncomfortable truth. War isn't just fought on battlefields, it's fought on balance sheets. Because behind every missile, every tank, every operation, there's a financial transaction, a loan, an agreement, a promise to pay later. So the next time you hear about a war, don't just ask who is fighting, ask who is funding it. Because nations fight the wars, but debt keeps them going. And in a system built on borrowing, peace is cheap, but war is very, very profitable.